Hello, I'm Les Litwin. I'm the Technical Sales Director of Antrica. This is a full user guide for the ANT-37500.
Okay, so this is just going to be a short video on how to use the cameras tab on the Spotbox webpage. Okay, so for this section, just going to go through how to manually add a camera. So you're going to want to go up to the top of the webpage here to the camera section. I'm just going to put in a URL I've already got for a video clip. I'm just going to press add. It's going to come up on this list down here. And you can see it's already been given a tag, and a tag is what the system recognizes the camera is called. So this is used for configuring your different views, which is what we'll go through in the next video. So I'm just going to give this a tag of trailer 2. And now you can also give something a label. Now a label is different from a tag. The label is just what comes up on the screen when the video is playing. And you can also choose its position on the video. So in this case I'm just going to leave it in the top left. It's just quite important to remember they are two different things, the label and the tag. So it's good not to get confused between the two. Once you've done this, if you just go and press save all, this saves your new camera onto the system, and now this is ready to use and configure however you like. Okay, so for this section we're just going to go through how to do a network search. So I'm just going to go ahead and hide the two cameras I've got already using the arrows on the right just to clean up the workspace a bit. And then head over to network cameras and use the search button. This just searches the box for the cameras on its network. You can see here we've got 4 that have popped up. I'm just going to use the top one, and you can actually tag the camera before you add it. So that's just what I'm doing here. I'm giving it the tag camera 1, and then you just need to press add, and it will come up on this list down here, and you can see it's already got the tag preset into it. Now for this camera I need to use a username and password, so I'm just going to go ahead and enter those in. And if these are correct, you press query, and all the profiles for this camera should pop up. If the combination is incorrect, then no profiles will turn up. So you can see here I've got a list of profiles. If I want to go and select one of these, I just go over to the right hand side where these dashes are. I click on a couple of them, and you can see they're selected because there's a tick showing on this right hand side. If you have more than one profile selected, like I have here, the profile that best matches the protocol and the chosen resolution will be the one that's shown on the screen. You can change your protocol just where it says protocol. You can see it's set to default right now, and you can change that to whichever option you'd like to match the profiles below. And if there are no profiles selected, it will show up on the screen with a red message saying no profile. So once I've done this and I've selected the profiles, I just go over to save all, and this saves the camera and the profile selected onto the network, as you can see. And that makes your camera ready to go on the system, so it will be available to select on the Views tab. And I can go ahead and hide each one if I want, using this big button on the top right. So if you've got a long list of cameras, it makes it easy to hide them. Another feature of the cameras tab is the media search function. All this does is it searches the box for any connected USB stick or SD card. The way this works is you just go over to media and press search, and all of the found media files, they will come up below in the table as shown. If I want to add one of these to the camera, I just go over and press add. It comes up on the list below. Just like any of the other normal cameras, you can tag them, you can label them. It all works exactly the same. So I'm just going to go ahead and add a few more, and then I'll show you what this looks like over on the preview page. So now that I've got everything added, I can go over to the top and press save all. This just makes sure everything stays on the system. If you change tab without saving, it will lose all the changes that you've made. And I'm going to go over now to the home screen, just after hiding these cameras, just to clean it up a little bit. I'm going to go to the home screen now, and this is what we've done. Just it looks like As you can see, you've got all the tags for the corresponding media there, and also a preview there on the bottom for what we've just put on the screen. So just finally, I'm going to go through how to delete or restore a camera. So you can see these red buttons here that say delete. If you press these, it will come up with an option to restore. So this is just if you've accidentally deleted a camera and you want to restore it, you can just press restore and it will flick back to saying delete. If you leave it as restore and then press save all, that camera will be permanently deleted, as you can see has just happened there. So there is an option to restore your camera just in case you've accidentally pressed delete. This is just going to be a short video on how to use the display tab on the Spotbox webpage. So at the top of the display screen we've got font size options. So this just changes the font size when we have things like labels. It just changes how large or small they are. And you can do that for each view mode, so 1x1, 2x2, etc. All you need to do is go onto the drop down menu and press apply once you've selected what you want. It's the same for the resolution. You have a big list of different resolutions you can choose. Once you've found your selected resolution, you can click apply. It will prompt you to either select OK or cancel. I'm not going to OK it because I don't want the system to restart, but if you press OK, the system will restart and then it will be configured to the resolution you've selected. There are also options for configuring an RTSP server. So if you want to enable it, just click on the right hand side next to enable, and if it is selected and enabled, a tick will appear with all of these different options below it. These options you can configure yourself, and if you make any changes, just press apply and these changes will be saved. Using the link to the right of where it says stream, you can actually use this and put it into a media player such as VLC to stream the display that comes up on the box. And I'll just show you how to do that now. Okay, so I've just opened up VLC. I want to go up to the top here, click File, and then Open Network. It will get me to input a URL. I'm just going to paste in the one that I used earlier. But here where it says IP-ADDR, we actually want to input the IP address of our box. So in this case, it's 10.0.5.222. Click open and there we go, the stream just pops up like that. So the important thing here is just where it says IP address, just input the IP of the box and your stream should work. Okay, so this is just a short instructional video on how to use the Spotbox webpage home screen. So if you open up the home screen, the first thing you can see is the view mode. And this just allows you to select how many views you have on the screen at any one time. So at the moment we have 2x2, so this just means we've got 2 views across and 2 views going down. And if I change that to 1x1, that means we're just restricted to 1 view. And it's the same for 3x3 or 4x4. And the table below it actually shows what is on this view. So at the moment I've got 2 different cameras that cycle between each other, and that's actually what this table below is showing. You can also put maybe a clip on full screen, so that's just here we put a movie trailer on, and that just puts this clip in full screen with no other cameras on it. Below you can see the default grid mode, so this is just what comes up when you open up the box. So all you need to do here to change that is select one of the options and then press apply, and the next time you boot it up it will come up. And now on the bottom we have the preview, and this just shows what is showing on the box, and you can change the size of this by just selecting the options on the drop down menu. And this is just a live feed from the box of what is playing. This will just be a short video on how to use the network tab on the Spotbox web page. So the first option is just for configuring your Ethernet. Any changes you do make and you want to save, just press apply. a message will pop up saying update your network configuration, and that just logs you out. It doesn't reset the box or anything. It'll just log you out. You just need to log back in. And then if you head over to network, any changes you made, they will be applied. So you can also configure Wi-Fi on this device. Initially I had it disabled. To enable it, just go down to enable, press on the right hand side, wait for the tick to pop up, and all the options will come up below it. Before I was connected to Office 11, I'm just going to reconnect to that and show you how you can scan for a network. So just press scan, and the list of found networks will come up. I'm going to choose Office 11 because that's got the best connection, as it's at the top of the list. So I go on the drop down menu and select it from there. And also you're going to probably need to enter the password. Once you've done that, you just need to press apply. It will say update Wi-Fi configuration, as you can see there at the top, and that's the Wi-Fi setup there. This video will just go through how to use the sequences tab on the web page. The purpose of a sequence is to take multiple different grid setups. So for example, the grid setups you've done for 2x2 views, 3x3, or 1x1, and you can play these back to back in a sequence, with each different grid playing for a certain amount of time before playing the next grid in the sequence. So I'm just going to start off by creating a new sequence. I'm just going to call it sequence 1. Once you've given it a name, just press add and the sequence will pop up down below. To add different grid setups, you can just drag and actually drop them into the sequence. So you can see here I've got grid 1x1 and grid 2x2 there. And you can see that there's 3 boxes here with a little clock next to them. So that's actually how long you want to play this certain setup for. So this goes in hours, minutes and seconds, with the furthest right being seconds. So I'm just going to give this a short time period of 5 seconds, and then I'm going to show you what this actually looks like on the home screen preview. Okay, so to get a sequence up on the home page, you just want to go over to the view mode, and then select one of your sequences, as I've just done that now. And you can see on the preview at the bottom, it's starting off with the 1x1 configuration, and it's a little bit slow, but you can see there it then switches to the 2x2 after about 5 seconds, and then around about now it will switch back to the 1x1 view again. So you can see just what a sequence is. It's 2 different grid setups back to back. This video is just going to go through how to use the system tab on the Spotbox webpage. So at the top here there is an option to change your password. Just type in the new password and then repeat it just to confirm. Once you've done that, just press update. This should work, this should update it, but just to be sure, I usually reload the page, and there you can see the password is now gone, which means it's been updated to the new password. There is also the option to perform a system update. So to do this, we're just going to go to choose file. It's going to bring up your file explorer. I've already got an update here ready where it says Spotbox update. Just going to go over there and press open. You can see once I've done this, the file name will be displayed just there under system update. Now to actually update the system, I just need to press load update. It's going to ask me if I want to update the firmware. Just going to say okay. And now it will load the update. You might have to wait a little while, so we'll come back when it's updated. Okay, so that seems to be ready. It will just tell you the system will reboot, and then it will bring you to the login page. You might need to again wait a little bit for your box to reboot before you log in. But now you can see I've logged back in and we've got the updated system. So below there is the option to save the system and the camera configurations. Now the difference between the two is the system configuration, it saves everything that you've set up throughout the whole system. So in every single tab, anything you set up, it will save that, and then you can load that at a later date if you want your system to set up like that. Saving the camera configuration, it only saves the cameras that you've set up. So what we did in the cameras tab, all of that is saved onto a file. So if you want to save your system configuration, just go over to Save Configuration. It will pop up as a download down there at the bottom. And if you want to load this, you just go over to Choose File. I'm just going to choose the configuration I had earlier. I just go over to it and select Open, quite similar to how we updated the system. And then once that file is there and it's showing on the screen, you can just press Load Configuration. It will ask you if you want to update it. It will log you back out, and it also is going to reboot the box as well. So you're going to need to wait for the box to load up. Once the box is rebooted, you can go ahead and log back in, and the saved configuration that you wanted will be there on the system. So as I mentioned previously, you can also save and update the camera configuration. It's pretty much exactly the same process as with the system. You just go over to Save Cameras. It's going to come up with a download file at the bottom. To actually load this up, you just go into Choose File. It'll open up your File Explorer, and you just need to select the file, press Open. And to actually load the update, you just go and press Load Cameras, and that will update your camera list there. So it's just important to note that saving the camera configuration only saves the actual list of cameras that you have, and it doesn't save any of the other settings about the system. Okay, so this video is just going to go through how to use the Views tab on the web page. At the top of the Views page, you can see a list of options saying grid 1x1, grid 2x2, etc. At the moment I have grid 2x2 selected, and all that means is I'm configuring the views for the 2x2 grid. So this is the view that was previewed in the home screen, and also I showed it in the cameras as well. And below that is a list of views, so you can see view 1, view 2, view 3 and view 4. And these appear on the screen as follows. You can see the tags that we made from the camera section earlier, just where it says trailer 1, camera 1, trailer 2 and camera 2. If we want to add these onto the grid, we can do this in two different ways. So they can either be dragged down into each view, or you can use the drop down menu and select which view you want, then go down to the tag and press the add symbol, just as we're doing here. And this will add that tag to the view. If you want to just move cameras between views, you can do that just by dragging them in the same way you drag and drop them into a view. So just as I'm doing here. This is also how we create patterns, which is something that we'll go through in the next section of the video. So once you've done that, you can go up to the top left and press save. This saves your configuration that you've just made. So in this case, we've done it for grid 2x2. And now you can go over to the home page. And in this case, I'm going to select what we just configured. So grid 2x2, this 2x2 view is going to come up on the screen. I've gone back to the views tab just so you can see what we just set up and also what's up in the top right as well. So you can see the trailer 1, camera 1, trailer 2 and camera 2, they're all labelled up there, and this is the view that we just configured. Okay, so as I mentioned previously, you can also create patterns. So what these are, they're just sequences where you've got more than one camera or one tag on a single view. And I'm going to do this in 1x1 just to make it a little bit more clear. So to create a pattern, you just need to add more than one tag to a view. So I'm just going to do that here, and it will come up with a little error saying multiple camera selected invalid. So this means you need to enter a specific period, and this is in seconds at the moment, but this might change in the future. What this does is it just means these cameras are going to cycle between each other every 5 seconds. So I'm just going to add a couple more cameras, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like when you've made that pattern. You can also add a camera to the pattern by typing in the tag, and then just pressing add, and it will add it as I've just done there. So now I just need to press save, And on the home screen, my box is already configured in the 1x1 view. So you can just see in the top right now, this is what is showing on the pattern. It's just the 4 different tags or cameras cycling between each other. And that's how you set up a pattern. You can also change the order of the pattern just by clicking on the 3 lines on the left hand side of a camera and just dragging it to whichever order you'd like. And then once you've done that, just press save and it'll save that configuration. The final thing you can do to possibly speed up making a pattern is if I type in, for example, C star, it will select every camera or tag that starts with a C and put that in a sequence. So you can see now on the screen, just in the top right, that we've got camera 1 and camera 2 cycling between each other because we added a pattern C star. So we could have done that with T as well, and trailer 1 and trailer 2 would have played instead.